the criticism for Scottie Barnes is just gone way too far. And yes, it maybe hasn't been the best at times this season, but there are so many reasons to back this player going forward, especially now that he's a centerpiece of this team. Articles came out yesterday after Scottie Barnes had a bit of a dud against the New York Knicks. He goes 4 of 14, 0 of 3 from 3, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, even in a bad game, like 7 assists, 6 rebounds, isn't that bad. 2 blocks to go along with it as well. But an inefficient night, a low-scoring night from Scottie Barnes. Articles come out talking about Scottie Barnes flopping on Broadway as the Raptors. They did get routed by the Knicks. Yes, they lost by 26 points, but Scottie Barnes also looked like he was kind of dealing with an injury during the game. But I saw a bit of discourse online about Scottie Barnes where it's like, okay, Siakam's gone. Now this is the complete centerpiece of the team. We're going to be needing better nights than this. And sure, we are going to be needing better nights than this. But you have to kind of understand the full scope of the situation when it comes to Scottie Barnes and what he's going to be able to do post-Siakam. So even before the Siakam trade, Scottie Barnes' numbers have started to creep down a little bit. Right as the All-Star voting started to open, kind of unfortunately, Scottie Barnes' meteoric start to the season started to creep down a little bit, but even still, he's been unbelievably good this season. Like, consider your preseason expectations. He's averaging 20 points, 48% from the field, 36% from 3. Just astronomical change to his three-point game. 8.3 rebounds, which would be a career high. 5.7 assists, which would also be a career high. Like, look at the jumps that this guy's making. 1.5 blocks per game now, career high. 1.4 steals per game, career high in 35 minutes a game. Like, there is a lot to really like about Scottie Barnes' game. And the fact that he's kind of coming back down to earth a tiny bit and the stats are still this good is a big showcase to how good he's been as a player. But in the recent stretches of games, I think where we want to see improvement is just the settling for the jump shots. Like, he knows he's very good. Like, you see there's some games where Scottie Barnes, like, can be, like, I don't know if the right word is a little bit lazy, but, like, you know, for the lack of a better word right now, a little bit lazy where it's just like he knows he's very good and he can just hit a jump shot. But the more efficient shot and the better shots sometimes are at the rim, and he can work for those opportunities at the rim a little bit more, and he just isn't really doing that. And I think the one game in particular that kind of brought this on myself where is there a touch of laziness creeping in maybe a little bit was the recent game against the Miami Heat where he wasn't bad, but there was just some plays where he's taking on extra jump shots, like the Bulls game as well, where it's like, okay, the Bulls game was a different. Let's go one at a time here. So the Heat game, like, he turns the ball over, head down, doesn't run back. Sometimes that creeps in. I don't know if there was something that was discussed internally because it was way better in the Bulls game. Like, when he turned over the ball, he'd make sure that his turnover would not result in points on the other end of the court. And he had this phenomenal game against the Chicago Bulls in the end where he goes 31, 7, and 6. But a whole lot of these points were jump shots where he's settling for threes, he's settling for mid-range shots where, like, yes, he's hitting them and they've been efficient, but he can be an even more dominant force on the inside. And there's going to be games where that jump shot just isn't falling. Like the New York Knicks game where he goes 0-3 from 3, 4-14 from the field, that he just needs to rely a little bit more on his interior game, and that's going to help get him to the next level. Is part of it fatigue, whatever injury he may have been dealing with in the Knicks game, motor, 100%. But also what's starting to change now for Scottie Barnes. And he really felt it in this New York Knicks game. This is going to be what defines Scottie Barnes as a player. Because most players from year to year, like from Scottie Barnes to his rookie season, from his rookie season to his sophomore season, teams started to defend him better in year 2 because they had the sample. They had the tape. They had the data, the information on how to defend Scottie Barnes. And he didn't really work on a new angle to his game offensively that would allow him to be even better. Now, he's done that in this offseason, coming into his 3rd season. The three-point shot has done wonders to his game, absolutely. The jump shooting in general is doing wonders to his game. But now, where Scottie Barnes needs to find this next evolution, which usually is something that occurs in the offseason, but he's going to have to do this on the fly because Scottie Barnes now is the best player on this team. No debate. No debate whatsoever. For the first 41 games of the season, the first half of the season, Pascal Siakam was the best player on this team, at least from an offensive standpoint. Overall, Scottie Barnes' game of the season, could you argue it's been better than Siakam's? 100%. Offensively, I don't think you can really make that claim. Siakam is the superior offensive player. So Siakam would always get the most difficult matchup. So when you're playing against, like an OG Anunoby, let's say, he's on Siakam. But when you're playing against OG Anunoby and there's no Siakam or whoever is the best defender, they're going to throw that player on Scottie Barnes. Sometimes RJ Barrett's been very good, and they're actually throwing the best defender on him sometimes. OG had a lot of reps against RJ Barrett. But Scottie Barnes is the focal point of the Raptors now. And those defenses are being planned to stop him. And there's not a lot of other help on this struggling Raptors team to take away that full focus of the defense. So what we're having here is Scottie Barnes having to navigate being the centerpiece on this team and facing those defenses on a night-to-night basis. And for somebody who's 22 years old, yes, there's going to be some rough games. There's going to be some great games as well. We had that crazy stat line and performance against the Chicago Bulls. Then the next night you have something like this against the New York Knicks. But you have to understand, every player will go through this where they have a really good game, then perhaps a not-so-good game. That's going to happen to every player, let alone somebody who's 22 years old and is being thrown into this whole thing as the centerpiece of the team. Dealing with, a few weeks ago, OG Anunoby getting traded. This week, Pascal Siakam getting traded. The team completely shifting directions. The team completely shifting their on-court plans to cater to him even more. There's going to be an adjustment phase. And along the way, yes, like Siakam wasn't... Siakam had the odd rough game in his arsenal, as good as he was. Every player does. Every player has those types of games. So for Scottie Barnes, he's in his third season here. He hasn't even signed his rookie max extension yet. Like, that'll be in the offseason for sure. But I understand that expectations are going to start to grow now that he is the centerpiece, and there's going to be more expectation, less hope. We're not hoping these jumps happen. We're not hoping that this step gets taken. The expectation is that's going to happen. And to be honest, those things need to happen. But it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to be a long process for the Raptors to build this team back up. They have some exciting pieces to work with going forward, and Barnes, Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley for sure. But this is going to be a process. And it's going to be a process for Scottie Barnes to figure out how he is going to be the biggest and most important piece of this team. So patience is what I want to preach right now. Patience is going to be what is most important for Scottie Barnes, his development. Because maybe it felt a bit rushed from year 1 to 2 because he was so good in his rookie season that when it went to year 2, it was like we saw this already. Like, we need to see some steps. He's pretty much flatlined in his second season. But maybe that offseason stuff that we're kind of hoping happens, we're looking for that in the middle of the season. So with all these things changing on the fly, give him some time to get his feet under him. But along the way, there still are going to be some outstanding performances. And time to time, maybe there's going to be nights like this where he's not the greatest, but nobody else really can bail him out enough. And, when you had games with Pascal Siakam, if Scottie had a night like this, maybe Siakam goes ballistic. And maybe there's some games Siakam has a bad night, but Scottie Barnes goes ballistic. Maybe not quite the same effect on this team today, but that's okay. The Raptors' win-losses aren't the huge thing this season, but if Scottie Barnes can maintain any sort of semblance of a stat line like 20, 28, and 6 on 48, 37 shooting, he's going to be all right. And he's on course to having a phenomenal NBA career. If the Raptors had a better record this season, very likely he would have been an all-star. I think there are many all-star appearances on the way, and perhaps it could still happen this year. Perhaps it could happen next season. So keep your faith in Scottie Barnes because the front office has committed a lot of resources into making him the centerpiece. But now, yes, we need to start seeing a little bit of those next steps being taken, but it doesn't happen right away. it's not going to constitute an emergency by any means.